sunny day, we'll have a brunch. Look over the beautiful blue skies and the sun beating down on the beautiful water.
All right, that was Norma Jean Angel and Sunday Brunch, and Sue and I are back. We made it.
We are back.
Yeah, because we've been talking offline too while the song is going, and we'd be looking at the timing like, okay, we got 3 seconds.
Hey, y'all, you know, I hope you're going to enjoy this 2-hour format because let me tell you, when Lina and I get together, we can talk. We've been on the phone before for 4.5 hours. So you think 2 hours is anything? It's nothing. Trust me. Trust me. We get going, we get down, and we keep going down and down and down. It don't stop.
Okay, so next type of friendship we're going to talk about is loyalty. Friendships that are friends that are loyal. We've all been in certain situations where we expected that, not expected, but we would think that one friend that we really consider as a good friend to come through for us, you know, help us out, come through, and then they don't. They fall short of coming through. And it makes you, how do you, what you're feeling at that time when it does about that friend that you really thought was a good friend. Now, me and Sue, we had discussed, we both had situations like that in our lives, and we decided to share.
Yes,
share.
ma'am.
We're not going to go into detail, but, just kind of outline in the friendship. So, Sue, do you want to go first, or you want me to go first? Or? Okay,
yeah,
go ahead.
I'll go first. I was younger, and if you're listening, I still have all the love in my heart for you, and I'm not going to call her up by name. She'll know who she is. And we were good friends from age 10 up into our mid-20s. And we both got married, and we both had children, and the friendship, as we probably started hitting late teens, early 20s, started to falter a bit. Just, lives were starting to happen, and we're growing up, and things are getting in the way. And I remember there was, a bunch of situations where little things like one time I was younger, I was with a new boyfriend, and back then when you had to have surgery, like a scope on your knee, things like that, they put you in the hospital for a couple of days. And I had these really exciting plans with the new boyfriend. We were going out of town with my brother, and we were going to just have a really rocking weekend. And she let me know that she had to have this scope done, and I canceled my plans because I didn't want her to be alone in the hospital over the weekend.
Yeah.
And so I stayed with her, and hung out there and all that stuff. And then, I don't know, sometime later, whenever, I can't recall exactly when, I went in the hospital for something, and she didn't come visit me. And I remember telling my mom how hurt I was that, she didn't come visit me. And my mom said something really important to me then, and I'm sharing it now before I finish the story because I think it's kind of important to put this in a context, because this did help. And that was, she said, you can't treat your friends. It's not the golden rule, like treat others the way you want to be treated. She didn't mean that. She goes, you can't treat other people the way you treat them as friends and expect that they're going to do exactly the same and have it mean the same thing. Now, that kind of confused me. I'm like, I don't really understand what you mean by that. And she's like, I'm the type of friend that you call me up on a Friday night at 2 o'clock in the morning and I live 2 hours away. I will drive 2 hours away to be with you at 2 o'clock in the morning on a Friday night if you need me. But I can't expect my friends to do the exact same things for me and still call it friendship. Their definition of friendship is different than mine. That's really what my mom meant. So that kind of helped put things in perspective. But then as we grew older and, we're in our 20s and now we're looking at getting married and, those kind of things, it just seemed like I was putting out, in my opinion, I was putting out all this effort and all of this kind of always there for her when she needed me, but I didn't necessarily feel like she was there when I needed her. But I guess, and I was really, really hurt. And it caused me to write her a really long letter that I guess really offended her and upset her because she felt I was accusatory, and maybe I was in my language back then, I don't know. And she sent me back a book on friendship with a whole bunch of stuff underlined and a big long letter in return. And I just remember getting really angry, like, how dare she send me this book back on friends? Oh, my God. And I remember complaining to my mother, checking off all these times where I was her friend, like I was there for her, and I would do this for her, and I would do this for her. And I wasn't looking at any of the things that she did for me because they didn't match what I thought should have been what she should have done for me. So she did it in her own way. And
went above and beyond, and she just didn't.
Well, and but see, honestly, in retrospect, whether that really was the case or not, I don't know. But that's how I felt when I was, that age. And so it did end the friendship, sadly. And we were tighter than tight. We were inseparable, even though we had lived very far away from each other at many years of our friendship. We always found a way to always be together and be good friends. But lots of things happened, and the reality is we were friends for the time that we needed to be friends, and as close as we were, we needed that then. But then we started to grow apart because we grew in two different directions, and that's why it wasn't meshing so well anymore. And so some years later, she and I kind of came, not really back together, but we talked and we kind of came to an understanding and an agreement, not an agreement really, but an understanding that, we had what we had as a friendship for when we needed it. We've taught each other and learned from each other for those years, and we wished each other well. And she reached out to me a few years ago on Facebook, and we kind of talked a bit on Facebook and talked about getting together, and we never have, and we may someday. I mean, I have all the love in my heart for her, and she will always be somebody special to me and an important part of my history and my life. But whether or not we ever can come back together as friends, I don't know. I'm open to whatever. I just know that back then I was hurt because I had a different definition of friendship where, like you said, I felt like I went above and beyond and out of my way, and she didn't. But whether that was really the case or not, I would really have to pick it apart. But why? What would be the point now? But, yeah, I was really hurt. I was angry. I was like, talk to my mother like, how dare she send me this book, and who the heck does she think she is, and what the F this, and blah, blah, that. And my mother would just look at me with, like, a smile and try to console me, and, I was like, rawr, and...
Yeah, good moms are awesome.
Yeah, but it definitely ended the friendship. And so that's one of those things where I think had we taught honestly, in retrospect, honestly, looking back, it doesn't matter the specifics, but if we had talked along the way about the things that either one of us felt or were hurt by or upset or bothered by, maybe it wouldn't have ended the friendship because we would have taken care of them along the way. But we were either young, we met when we were 10 years old, and we didn't kind of break up, if you want to call it break up, until we were, 27, 28, something like that. So, I think if we'd have talked along the way, maybe that would have made a difference. So what about you? What happened to you? I'm dying to hear your story.
But, see, I think that what you had a good point there, that I never looked at it that way, and I think it's an interesting perspective to look at it from, and that's that some friendships are meant for that time and place of your life. Not all friendships are made to be forever, forever friends. Yeah. Some friendships are there at that point of life where you need that type of friend, and then eventually that friendship wears off, or wears down, or you separate, or you go your separate ways, and it was good when it was there, but if you try to hook up with it again, it's a completely different scenario, a completely different person, and you makes yourself wonder, were we ever friends? And in reality, you were at one time for that time of your life. But I think that's a good way to look at it, Sue. That's really good. I'm gonna write that down. Friendships are not forever.
Well, you know what? There's two things that I want to say before I want to hear your story that kind of helped me. Years later, I saw one of those memes. I don't know where it was. I don't even know if Facebook was around then. It might be. I'm sure it's floating on the internet now. But I saw this quote, and it really helped to put things in perspective too, along with that, which is that some people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And so some relationships are a reason.